All right, so I'm rolling tape now. I did get the host control. That's about it. I assume I'm not going to have to mute anyone during this meeting. So as soon as
Becky coming?
she was in.
I don't think, well, she and I had agreed that I would cover this meeting. She might still attend.
She might be.
Colin cannot attend also, in case you're waiting on him. He did email at the last minute, he can't attend.
I'm back, hopefully not as the host.
Yep.
I followed the link in the newsletter. I don't know if it's made me host again. I don't know why it's doing it.
No, I'm the host now.
Thank you. Good.
So we're recording and everything.
Right. I got an email from Colin. He wouldn't be here.
Yeah, he sent it to all of us.
Okay, good.
Okie dokie. So I guess Nancy and Franklin are here, but I'll wait till their video's back before I officially call everything to order, right? And welcome to Richard and welcome to Luke, who is a visitor.
A happy
Also
visitor.
lending his expertise and recent history to the board to this meeting. Thank you for taking time for this.
Ex-board member and treasurer.
Okay.
X in all caps.
Lilibet is
Oh
on.
yeah, Lilibet, I see your name down there. Thank you for being here.
Hey, I'm doing it. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I changed up. I'm using these earbuds now, which are pretty cool.
It's better than last time.
All right.
Oh, there's Becky. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Becky.
Just thought I would like sneak in and listen in.
All right.
You're listening in. That's what you said, right? Yeah. Okay. Who's here, Jen?
All right. Welcome back, Franklin. I'll call the board meeting to order for August, and I guess I already welcomed the visitors. I'll welcome them again. And Beth, you're technically a visitor, though.
Yes.
Much more. Much more. So after that, do y'all want me to share the agenda or anything like that? Or are we just going to, do y'all have it all in front of you?
Let's just go through it.
All right.
I have it.
The next item is to approve the July minutes, which Beth kindly attached to an email. We didn't get an opportunity to look those over. I know Steve did. I will make the motion to approve those minutes. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right. We'll call Kimala on that and take the vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, any opposed? Good, and that passes. And then my next item, only think other thing I had was just discussion to see if there was anything further we could do to make sure that we got the Common Ground Zoom meetings happening on a weekly basis. I, want to be cognizant first and foremost of the people that, share the brunt of the responsibility in creating it. Marty and Sandy and Marge and everyone, Eric. So they've kind of said how much they can do, and it doesn't seem to be quite enough to handle every week. Looking at the upcoming dates that are in the minutes, there's a couple that are still open, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes and jump in too much, but I do have a little bit of experience in doing the technical aspects of creating these kind of services. And as a stopgap, it might be possible to, I hate to use the word like a canned service, but where the service elements that stay the same from week to week literally stay the same. It's a copy paste. And then we put in GA's service, we put in one of Reverend Cantor's from First, or any of the other UU churches around here that archive it. And it doesn't have to be, that week's. It's just one that they've got available, and just put in there. So every week we've got a service. And so I'll have to, I've hit up a few of the people that used to help with the PowerPoint in the back, and I don't see some of them around very much at all, and no one responded to my email. But again, I'm going to be here every Sunday. I don't foresee being away from a computer on a Sunday morning, so I could even just run the slides, and then we have the speaker, and we'd really just need a worship leader that would talk in between. And I think we've had quite a few people in that pool. So
so you want response to what you just said?
yeah, does anyone have any alternate ideas, or is my worry is that the other people on the service creation team will feel like I've just kind of jumped in and done too much or stepped on their toes, or
Well, I'm sorry, I'm behind on my emails. Did they say they felt like they were up to doing one every 2 weeks? Or what did the service team
that's
say?
about, I think, the commitment that we've been able to arrange based on the people that, create the PowerPoint and pick the speakers. But I think right now, picking the speaker, it's pretty much just Mary McMahon.
Well, Colin is supposed to be on that.
Yes,
Right.
Colin and Mary are doing speaker recruitment.
yes.
And speaker recruitment,
We can't hear you very well, Becky.
because I don't have my mic down.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, no. The others for listening. Mary McMahon is really good about finding speakers. She's got a lot of contacts, and we have a whole list of people.
Mhm.
So some of them would be on video, but she needs to be part of that whole loop of what's going on, since she's really the main speaker
Right.
recruiter. But
Colin's probably very busy right now, so I do see that, but
Well, it looks like, looking at the agenda, there are speakers scheduled 2 weeks in a row already. So twice in August and twice in September.
yeah, it's
Is that going to be
Also-
the?
I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, so, does the service team know that, or are they?
That's what's on the shared spreadsheet, the liturgical calendar on the
Uh-huh.
Google Drive. That's what that's drawn off of. And
I'm a little bit confused. I see water communion and then
It's empty
the,
right now. That one, we need somebody for it, but she's intending to have that be a water communion service.
How are we going to do a
If
water
we-
communion when we can't pour our water in a?
We're gonna get creative is what Mary was suggesting when I
Okay.
talked to her.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we talked about this at the RE council meeting, and I thought we were going to do that together with the in gathering
She-
for RE.
Okay, you need to talk to Mary because I spoke with her this week because I was trying to get feedback on the weekly, but she also was asking about that upcoming service. She says normally we have water communion and in gathering together, but she says she was saying that she did not see how we could do in gathering in this situation. I don't know the answer to that, so maybe get with her and talk with her.
She was at the RE council meeting where we talked
Oh.
about doing it together on the 13th.
I don't know, maybe it changed since I talked with her then.
So if we do, that leaves the 6th open.
This-
But I thought we were going to do the GA service. What
That's
happened to that?
It's moved down to October 4th. I copied and pasted what I had from the liturgical calendar into our agenda. So
Yeah.
that's on October 4th, apparently.
The service design team decided to move that. I think Marge sent that email, right? So,
think so.
if it were to only be every other week, it would need to be, I think, every other week, because if we don't maintain consistency, no one's going to know, and then they're going to give up on the idea of knowing when, common ground is and stop looking.
I do think a critical component that's helped is when you all send the breeze out the day before, or maybe even like on the Friday, because unfortunately we don't have the readership we should in the weekly.
True.
And so if you send that automated message out to everyone, I think we ensure a better attendance. So.
I like the idea of the canned service. I still think about a video sermon that was shown at one service that talked about Emerson. He called him, he was explaining Emerson is the rock star, was the rock star of his day, and talked about him sitting in the balcony with the members of color, and the idea of anyway, I don't know if any of y'all remember that. I think about it all the time. It was a whole nother aspect of Emerson, and it really helped me not be so annoyed when my dad talks about Emerson all the time. It was a different aspect of him, and kind of you too. It was very powerful for me. So I think recorded sermons could be very powerful.
Yeah. If anyone has any links, send them to me, and I'll just I'll take some old PowerPoints that we've used before, and I'll title them something creative and put them in a folder that's just to fill in. I think even if it were, so when Eric did his panel, we didn't have any service elements. I don't think we should do that. I think there's a little bit of the ritual, and it would be good for us to maintain that. But that kind of, to me, goes to say it's a whole heck of a lot better to have something than to have nothing.
Yeah.
So we can use some TED Talks. I mean, we can really get creative and fill the message portion of the service with, things that we wouldn't have the opportunity to use during more normal times even. And to kind of segue out of that into, there's even potential for growth within Pathways while we're in this era, in that people that have maybe vaguely heard of UUism but don't know really what it is, and aren't to the point where they would have gotten out of their house on a Sunday, might click their friend of a friend's Facebook post link or something and pop into a Pathways common ground. So I think there might be ways that, keeping the Zoom link wide open, and each of us, me included, Saturday and Sunday morning, making a post, putting the Zoom link into, hey, do you know what Unitarian Universalism is? Here's, where I'll be and then, you know, one friend shares it, and that's how internet stuff works, as I understand it.
Okay, if you teach me how to do that, I'll put it on my Facebook page I never use.
I'll do it this, I guess, you know, I'd like to do this for next Sunday. So we go straight from this Sunday to next Sunday with a service. And then we've got the next 2 Sundays nailed down. And even the one after that seems to be taken by our existing volunteers to be produced. And then the 2 after that are nailed down per the liturgical calendar. So that puts us in a pretty good place. I would say, to have good consistency. Franklin, did you raise your hand?
So if we have something this week, just send it to you or to Mary McMahon for the 16th. If we have something for the 16th, like a video.
Yeah, if someone has a good idea for the message portion via video from someone else, yeah, I'd be happy to look at it. If we get to, let's say, Wednesday 6 p.m. and I don't have no one's giving me something, I'm going to get something probably from First UU, because I know they archive their stuff and it'll be really easy for me to grab something, and it's First UU, and I think everyone would be really comfortable us borrowing a message from either Cantor or one of their other, or whoever has one of the recent ones.
Hey, Alec, as you said at the beginning of this conversation, we kind of wanted it every Sunday. The current service design team and technology people said they had the capacity for a couple times a month. We've had this discussion. I think we just need to be in conversation with them. If you do that, take that move on Wednesday, let's just make sure that the Mary or whoever's representing the service design team is looped in.
I think I'll put together an email and include each of us, as well as Mary McMahon, Marge, Eric, Sandy,
and Marty,
and say, I would like to put something together and take, you know, on my own or for everyone, including video from, you know, one of First UU's messages, so we can get this coming Sunday going without putting anything extra on them. And then explain that looks like we'll have the next 5 ready in hand. I'll mention something about, can I help more with the water communion service? You know, that one doesn't seem to be 100% filled in from my understanding.
Well, I think we need to do the in-gathering RE and the water communion together, whether it be on the 6th or the 13th. Those need to go together.
Talk to Mary then, because I think she may have been the one that set it up that way, I think.
Okay.
Alec includes Sandy Moore too. I don't think we mentioned her name when you were saying who all you'd copy.
He did. He did.
Okay.
Hey,
Good.
I don't suppose we could do something crazy like ask for use of the parking lot and everybody drive in their cars. We could have a big tub.
We can.
In the middle of the cars for the water.
We'll add we can just add this into this right now. But yeah, we at some point in the near future do need to talk about, you know, how we will reopen the physical building, even if it's still a good ways out. I think there will be kind of a time when there is a vaccine and not everyone's gotten it, or some people won't be able to get it. And what are steps that we can take to continue, you know, protecting the congregation at the tail end of this thing when we are moving back into the building. And I think outdoors stuff is safer than indoors stuff.
Yes, it is.
And I think there are ways that we can utilize outdoor space, and we do have it, especially as the days get shorter, because we do have a big projector and an outdoor screen, so we can show stuff where it can be seen by a bunch of people. I've seen like concerts and movies done this ways, where people, park in their car. So we could check with the landlord. It is in our lease that we can't have audio. I don't know if there's anything specific about an outdoor video projection system.
Well, I was thinking if we did the water in gathering from our cars in the parking lot, I mean, everyone would have to watch it on their phone. We could still do it as Zoom. We're all in our car, but we could have a tub in the middle, and everybody can take turns walking out, out from their car, pouring their water in the tub.
I will say that Mary was indicating to me that she was looking for a speaker when I last spoke with her. And so maybe Kimala and Nancy, if you'll talk to her and maybe you can figure out some way to hybrid or something, people could tune in. I don't know, but it's worth a thought. Because I know she was looking for a speaker when I spoke with her, so.
I was just going to say the 6th is Labor Day weekend, September 6th.
Oh, yeah.
So it probably would be better to have a water communion in gathering on the 13th.
Yeah.
And traditionally, at UU churches for Labor Day weekend, there's a labor theme, just talk about what the labor movement has been to our country. So if we could get even a canned speaker that weekend. I mean, usually on Labor Day weekend, a lot of people are out of pocket, but that's my thought, is if we could get a canned speaker on the subject of the labor movement, labor songs, all that stuff.
Or even a TED Talk.
Yeah, on the labor.
That'd be appropriate. Yeah, on the labor. That'd be appropriate.
Well, there's probably some people like me who really don't know a whole lot about it and could use that kind of an education. Everything I know about it, I learned from the Grapes of Wrath and Mary Kappas. Yeah.
And some Seeger and some Woody Guthrie tunes, and they were big into that whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where we need to be when we're talking about the components that don't have to do the speaker. We, like Alex said, we need to be mindful of conveying that to the service design team, because what I'm understanding is this is a pretty daunting task right now to try to do one weekly. So
I think we're all excited about the idea of a can.
Yeah.
So rock on, Alec. Go
right,
for it.
well, I'll put a few together.
Great.
You can have them.
Thank you.
And I'll email all of us and all other associated parties, kind of just offering then that the idea is it's a canned service. I'm going to go into the creation of it, fairly minimalistic mindset just to get it out. And then I'm going to pick
How many of these do I have?
songs that Marty's built videos for fairly arbitrarily based on ones I remember us doing often.
That sounds good. Yeah.
But I have, because of my background, I know I can do it in a relatively short amount of time.
Thank you.
And then most of the time will be focused on finding videos that I think are appropriate for it. So everyone's input is appreciated, but I also I feel like I have a wealth of resources to be able to find this.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll make that email happen and move forward with this coming Sundays. And again, if anyone has any input, it would be appreciated, and I'll address water communion / in gathering, and then the open slot I see on September 27th. All right, that's all I have under my part of the agenda. I see Stephen, you are up next. Do you want me to share your development report?
You can. I'm looking at it on my screen off my hard drive. So this is a combined report for Development Committee and Governance Committee. There's activity in both areas. So grant-related activities since last time, essentially we got reminded that it had been 6 months since we got the Live Oak Endowment Foundation's grant, so they needed an interim report, which I wrote, and the text of that report is in my report in its entirety. I said, I asked them when we got the grant if you had any specific reporting forms, and they didn't answer, and I repeated that question in the email interim report I submitted, and they didn't answer. So I'm assuming at this point that the report I provided was sufficient for them. It addresses both aspects of the project, which was infrastructure, that was $5,000 for the space, and remodel, and $850 for RE. And we've discussed the RE budget, and we will have no problem expending that $850. We've spent just under 500 right now, but we have more curriculum that's Nancy's ordering, and she'll talk about in her report, and some other training costs. So I have every confidence that we'll be able to spend out the full amount of the grant. And skipping down to about the second or third page, where we are with the remodel is continuing to talk to Erica Bish at MPI. She knows what we want to do. I've learned, being educated on the whole field of architecture, there's a PPP, or some kind of preliminary plan, that is what I've been discussing with her as the first step, and we're back onto that. Her boss thought we were asking for a CD, which is a construction design, which is a bigger, more complicated thing that we're not to that stage of this project yet. And it's not as cheap as the PP is. So that's all been clarified. Her boss is traveling and was out of town. We're in dialogue. She's supposed to get back with me, which didn't happen on Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday, or Saturday after we talked on Wednesday. But I think we're still on with them, and I'll keep you apprised of what continues to happen in terms of getting the plan bid, getting the contractor. They've got their own, the contractor that walked the building with me. I would love it if we just did it all with one person, like we were going to do with the Brad Blessing before he had to exit himself from our project. And so that's where we are with MPI, and with the reporting on those aspects, both of the building and the RE program for Live Oak grant. So that's sort of the top part of the report. Any questions on that before I move into the governance report?
Oh,
Okay, the governance report has several aspects. I did a really comprehensive review of the bylaws and identified a few things that, well, first of all, I've made the edits to the old bylaws in accordance with the approved amended bylaws from the May 17th, 2020 congregational meeting, and that document has been shared out with you guys. Beth is going to help me get some bolding, or Becky is. There's two paragraphs that have bold that resist my efforts to remove the bold, but the words in it are all right. The only word changes in it were to change the size of the board from 6 to 7. And that paragraph, that section. No other changes in that one. There are a list of changes that Beth Cusack and I are already compiling for the next time they're amended. The most significant thing in the bylaws reviews is that we found we didn't follow our own bylaws in terms of the 2 week ahead of the congregational meeting distribution of a membership list with a process by which people could say, why am I not on it? Or people shouldn't be on it or whatever. It was a procedural lapse in terms of not following our own policy. But on the other hand, we had a quorum. We had unanimous votes on everything, including the new members of the board, including the approval of the amended bylaws. So my recommendation is that we don't panic. We let everything stand because of the sufficient quorum and the strong unanimous votes on every item on the agenda that day. But I do think we need to get some guidance, maybe from Southern Association of UUA or even UUA, on how to remedy the procedural oversight of not having vetted the membership list out ahead of time like we did the agenda. So with your permission, I will do that. I will approach Southern Association, tell them what happened, see if they have any ideas of, do we need to send something to the whole congregation? How do we address this? How do we fix this, right? So can I have your okay to proceed on that point?
Did we publish the membership list before?
It's in the bylaws. I have no idea. I've never been on the board before now. But when I read the bylaws, it says we're supposed to before every congregational meeting. It's in the bylaws. And we didn't this time. So I don't know if we've ever.
It's true. I'm sorry. That may have been an oversight in my part when I was passing the hat on, because I did remember doing it when we were in the building. So my apologies if somehow that's why this happened. But what I had to do is I would go to
I just came across it and noticed that I asked if Becky, you were kind of out of pocket at the time, but from everything I could gather, it didn't happen this time. So I'm just saying, I don't think it invalidates any of the actions that day because of the majority that we had and the unanimity of the votes. But I do think it's a loose end that we need to tie down and just sort of get some guidance off of from Southern Association of, do we need to read something into the minutes sometime? I don't know what the remedy would be, but probably needs to be addressed. And I'll look into it with your permission.
And Kimala, just to explain, I mean, my understanding is the reason that's in there is if there were to be a vote that was something someone would have an issue with, they need to be aware 2 weeks ahead that they want to attend that meeting and give their voice. So.
Oh, sure. I'm not questioning. I was just thinking, how does that get published? Because I don't remember ever.
Yeah, he'll contact Southern Region. I would think probably going forward by email while we're not able to be in the building, but Southern Region will probably give him some insight. So.
So how did we do it in the past?
Yeah, I don't remember getting a packet of names at a congregational meeting before.
All you need to do, although it seems minimal, it's sort of like why city council meetings don't have much attendance, but I would post it on a bulletin board in the church, the names of the people that were officially able to vote, not just members, but that they'd been members long enough to be able to vote.
Okay.
And so it was just a grid that I literally put up on the bulletin board.
I do remember seeing that, so that fulfilled that. That did.
Yeah, I never.
It's like a technicality, but
Never seen it.
Yeah, it's a check and a
I
box.
don't remember it being announced or anything like
How
check
did
the
we?
list on the bulletin.
Has that list changed?
Well, it probably does with every time we have membership. And if you look at the bylaws, I think somebody has to be a member for 6 months in order
so
to
they'll
vote.
be rolling in. So it has.
Just because you're a new member doesn't mean you can immediately vote. You have to have been a member for, I think, 6 months, but I don't have the bylaws memorized.
And further, I know we send our official membership once a year to UUA. There's people that drop off, there's new members that come on, and so the membership list moves. And the idea in this section of the bylaws has to do with when you're going to do something like this congregational meeting and have the congregation approve something or take an action, you need to make sure that everybody not only is aware. We did that fine. We published it 2 weeks ahead of time. We published the budget ahead of time. We did all the stuff, but we didn't really publish a membership list to say, these are who we think the members are for this upcoming meeting. If it's not right, if you don't see your name, or if you see a name that shouldn't be on there, please bring it to our attention. That's the only part of the whole advance notice for the congregational meeting that didn't happen. So I just want to find out how to remedy that after the fact. It, like you said, it's not substantive. As I pointed out in this report, we had a way over the quorum. We had unanimous votes. I don't think it substantively changes anything we did then, but procedurally, we probably need to tidy it up. So I'll check into that if everybody's okay with letting me do that. The next section of my report is the the personnel handbook. We found out there's a RE training manual for teachers that will be incorporated into that, and the policies and procedures handbook, and both of those things Beth and I are working on, but after we get progress on the strategic plan. The bylaws review was the first step in the strategic plan update, and we've already had one strategic planning meeting last week, and we have 4 members of the congregation and 2 board members, me and Kamala, on it. So we've got, I like the ratio, good representation, and yet it's small enough that we'll be able to be quick and do our work in a efficient manner. We'll be bringing to the board sections of that work, like we're reviewing the Sandy Moore, who's on it, surveyed UU churches all over the United States, put together a document that includes model mission, vision, statements from other UU churches. So everything's kind of on the table. I realize that the mission statement is longstanding and it's actually Article 2 of the bylaws. It doesn't mean it can't be modified. It's good, but it lacks a couple of elements. So we'll bring you things in this process, in these sequence. We'll bring it to the board for vetting it to the board first, and we probably won't take it out to the congregation, I wouldn't think, until we had at least mission, vision, value statements, and goals. Once it gets that far along, we feel it's necessary to involve the congregation so that we don't go to crafting objectives to achieve goals that haven't been vetted fully within the church. So that's sort of where we are after the first meeting. Any questions on any of that governance report? If not, I only have one more section in my report at the end, and it's about announcing some stuff within RE, adult RE. I've got a whole series. I've named the series Exploring Spirituality series. The 3 book studies I've already done. I've got a curriculum for all of next year, fall through spring, not summer, but just fall and spring, kind of that program year. And then in coordination with Sandy Moore, we're reviving Mystic Path, which hasn't been meeting since we entered the COVID era. And we're going to revive that. We've got a book study planned for the first 2 months. And then after that, since it's always participant-led, we'll have other people put together programming. And that'll be back on second Thursday evenings at 7. So that is my report.
All right, thank you, Steve. Share. And it's like we're on to Kimala.
Oh, is it my turn?
It's your turn. Do you want me to?
Oh,
put
it sure
your-
is. Yeah, will you let me share? Can you do that? Oh, where did it go?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll let
So
you.
now do I click on share screen?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, can everybody see it?
Mm-hmm.
Make this small. All right. So basically, this is just for July, so you can see the column I'm pointing at right now. That's what we budgeted, and this is the actual. So we thought, if you look at total revenue, we thought we budgeted that it would be 5,700. The actual was just over 5,000. And then our expenses, total expenditures, well, according to this, we budgeted them to be 1,100, and they were actually 1,600. So we have a net revenue smaller than expected. However, we're actually missing 3 big expenditures for this month. We had a little snafu in the transition from Luke to me. It turned out all of our pre-existing recurring payments that had been set up when he closed his debit card and his access to Frost, the kind that he did have, it just canceled all those. And we didn't realize it until yesterday. So we're actually missing over $3,000 worth of expenditures that should have been in July. That's the rent check, the HVAC check, and the monthly dues checks, which are manual checks will go into the mail. I mean, they're at the post office, but they'll be mailed out Monday for July. So this budget, this month's expenditures doesn't have everything it should, and then next month's going to look weird because it has rent payments done twice in a month. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Do you know if the landlord's gonna charge us anything for late payment this month?
I do not know.
Yeah, if the payment gets mailed tomorrow, it'd probably be nothing. They'll just take it and it'll be fine.
Yeah, but it's like getting close to halfway through the month.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll be able to report that to you next month.
Okay.
And I apologize. And all the payments are set up now, so this won't happen again. At least not for 2 years.
Yeah, and as
And
Kimla said, when I turned in my debit card, I didn't realize they were going to cancel every transaction, automated transaction I'd set up. I knew the debit card transactions would go away. I didn't think the other auto payments I'd set up through the bank account were going to go away.
Yeah. So, and actually, you know what else I could say? This also does not reflect on contract labor. It only reflects Marissa. For July, it doesn't reflect Tink, who started on July 22nd, and it doesn't reflect Teresa. Who also got paid after the 31st of July. Normally those checks are cut right near the end of the month. They go into the mail, and so the recipient gets them at the first or second day of the following month. You know, they're after they've worked, but those were done manually, so they won't show up. So the labor costs for next month will be a little higher than we expect to for the same reason. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I have
Okay.
a question. Since the income shows it's slightly below budget, and and expenses are slightly above budget for the extraordinary reasons you just mentioned. My question has to do with the grant monies that were received and booked last year, and whether or not they are going to be, have been already journaled into this year, so we reflect them as income for these current costs, such as Tink's salary and RE costs and various things. That's what they were for. It's just we're on cash accounting, so they went in last year's, and I don't know that. That's a Rebecca can help us do it, but I'm not seeing it in the income lines that we brought any of that money in that might make this month balance out better.
Well, so technically this month balance is fine because those other payments aren't going to show up till next month. You know, I mean, our net revenue is less than we thought, but we're still in positive as far as that goes. And then, I mean, Tink is not the director of religious education, so I don't think we're not paying her out of that money, are we? I mean, isn't that going to wait?
You're right. We're not paying her out of the
That
would take a conversation with the grant, but
so there is on here the Live Oaks grant, and it does show that 415 the Soul Matters was paid for out of the Live Oak grant.
oh, good. Okay, so it's already happening. What I would just
I
ask the
guess
question
so.
about is already happening, so never mind. We're already using the grant money for current costs. That's all I needed.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm sorry, you do have a copy of this in your email from this
Yeah,
one.
I'm looking at my copy because
Okay. All right.
see it.
So I think what you're saying basically is if we use any grant money to pay an expense, you want that it needs to be in this report.
Yes,
Right?
I would add the word qualified expense, as long as it can be counted under the grant as per the grant rules. We should charge the grant all the way out first before we hit any of our general, monies from.
Okay. Yeah, qualified expense that
Yeah,
close
you're
goes.
doing it. I just didn't see it yet. I just saw your report right before the meeting, so I hadn't looked at it close. But
Yeah.
thank you for answering the question.
Okay, does anybody else have a question?
Oh.
Okay, it is not on the agenda, and we may want to do an executive session, but I thought someone else was putting on the agenda the contract for Teresa. Apparently, her contract expired in June.
Yeah, I sent it to her. I updated it. She signed it. I put it in a self-addressed stamped envelope for it to be sent to Alec. So Alec, did you not get it?
I got it and signed it, and it's in the office.
Yeah.
Okay, so her contract has
So
been
her contract was signed
Yeah.
Okay.
before the end of June.
Okay, that's me not understanding. Okay, all right.
File
Good.
management's extra difficult during a time when no one's going into the office or very few people see inside the office, but it is, I
Yeah.
assure you, there on the desk.
We
sitting on the top.
okay. So whenever you go in, can you scan it into the Google Drive where we have contracts? Did you know we have a folder?
I don't know if I've never logged into that computer in there, so I don't know what you tell me the password, how to get into it.
Okay. Or, well, I guess I do have to go into the office a little bit.
You have to go in to sign this thing, right?
Wait.
I was going to run the Frostbank signature card change form up Pathways, and you could just go up there at your leisure. Do you have a key to the office?
Yes. Well, yes, but I can't find it right now.
I can leave these on the table just inside the front doors, and you can just slip them under the door of the office when you
Oh, okay, okay. Or if you tell me when you're going to run up there, I can go up at, I'm only 10 minutes.
Well, I
So
can go. I was planning on going pretty much right after this, but taking my bike. So
Cautionary note on this, if you're talking about the board resolution and the signatures of
Yes,
the board resolution to change the bank cards,
yes.
both times I've had to do that across the last 15 years, they required you to do it at the bank so they could watch you sign it. Sort of like when you sign for a notary, they have to see you do it. I don't know, Kimla, how the bank that we're using now operates or how they operate during COVID. They may have waived that, but I'm just saying, when we signed them one time, not in their presence, they made us redo it in their presence. So,
Well, Luke talked to our personal banker in quotes, and she said we could mail it to her, right?
Yeah, she was fine with us mailing it, just sign it and mail it.
all right, so never mind.
I think they're trying to decrease their exposure as well
Yes.
in the workplace. So, okay. If you will buzz me, you know, like when you get there, I could just nip up right away.
okay,
If that's okay. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, I'll let you know. It'll,
Okay, cool. Then I think I'm done.
Can you unshare your spreadsheet?
Oh, yes, yes. Thank
Play
you.
white.
Yeah.
Thank you.
all right, that's got it for Kimla. That moves us on to Franklin. Floor is yours.
So we have the inquirers class that's taking place on the 15th. I've spoken to Charlotte and Nova, which were the two people who signed up, and I received an email last night from two different people that want to sign up as well to take the class. So I'll reach out to them to confirm if they can make that date. We were going to do an in-person at the church because Charlotte was not able to pull up the information on her computer and have the meeting that way. And since it was just going to be 5 of us, we figured we can do social distancing enough for us to meet at the church and to do that. So I'll just confirm with the other 2 people, and then if they're not willing to meet in person, then we can do a separate one for them online.
Or we could maybe set up a Zoom while we do it, you know, and
We can do
we
it all
can figure it
together.
out, those people who
agree.
are at the church and the person who's not. And I hope, do you think someone could, or maybe Franklin, you know, could or not coach me through how to show the slides for this on the screen, like the way we do church?
Yes.
We would want
I can show you today if you'd like.
to. Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Okay. Would I need to put the all the slides on a thumb drive?
That's
No,
that or download them off Google Drive.
Okay, they're on Google Drive, so maybe we'll do
Yeah.
that. Okay.
So the other thing is that I'm tracking attendance. I'm not sure who's, because that's part of it. I didn't know if we had any new people that were joining online. I wasn't sure if there's a way. Do we track that? Is there a way we're tracking if there's anybody new that's joining when we do the common ground service, so I can maybe reach out to them?
I don't know if there's a way to publish the participants or just jot them down. We've been getting about 45 to 50 individual logins, which some have multiple people on them. It would be an extra challenge to try to ascertain any, couples are fairly easy to count as 2, but like Sue, I don't know how many of her kids she had back behind her there. I know there were some, but I wouldn't know how to put a number on it, but it would be just kind of like we used to on Sundays where you kind of count it up on the screens.
I think you mean new people that
Yeah,
attend.
new people.
right?
Like if there's someone, is there someone? Are we reaching? So I'm not sure. Do we have a group that's actually, if there's somebody new that's reaching out to them to welcome them to the community, or is that really up to the new person to reach out? I didn't know if we had anything like that since we've been doing it on Zoom. I know if we were in the building, it would be easier to do that. They'd fill out the form, but I don't know if we're still doing that part of it.
I don't think we are. I know you can look at the little head down there on the Zoom line and you can get the total number of logins like Alex said. And I asked this question of John Rigler for my book groups a long time ago, and he suggested having them go in and leave something in the chat room. I'm not sure how that
Huh.
record, but
That's,
it needs
that's a
to
great
be.
idea.
And if we could just invite any new member, any participants or attendees that are not Pathways members, to please leave a message in the chat room. We welcome you. I mean, just say something at the beginning of Common Ground, and that way maybe whoever's hosting the meeting, I guess you could go in the chat room before you close it all out and look for any of those. That's one way.
That's a
Okay.
good, that's a good idea.
It is.
What about having them send it directly to Franklin in case they're shy and don't want to put a message out that everybody sees?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to do that. If they knew how to do that, that would work.
We'll just put a chat in the chat room to say if you're new and you'd like to get more information about Pathways or be contacted, then just put your information and then they'll come. They can do it as a private message, and then it will just come to me. And I
I
can.
know how to get in and out of chat now, but I don't know how to direct it to everybody or somebody.
For the record, I'd like to
Easy.
say,
What?
for the record, I'd like to say there has not been any tracking since we've gone to Zoom on new members or new visitors, etc. I took that over from Ruby back when we were still, last fall, when we were still in the building, but nothing has been taken care of since then.
Okay, so we can start that now.
I know today I looked at names and I saw a few I didn't recognize, but there are members who are out of town who are joining now that, you know, I didn't know. Is that someone new or is that someone I just never have met? Like someone named
I don't think
Shelley
there was
Q.
any-
What?
I don't think there was anyone new today.
Is anybody keeping a record just of the total number, not tracking new ones through chat maybe is a new idea, but just that number that's on the Zoom line at the bottom where it says 44 today or whatever. I thought somebody was recording those. The hosts were recording those.
I think Teresa is tracking it, but I'm not sure where she's putting the information. I can't get her to respond to emails from me, so
Okay.
maybe somebody else can
I have-
ask her.
I have that.
Nancy, if you text her. Nancy, text her. Okay.
I'll text
Yeah, she answers your texts. She just doesn't necessarily.
Okay.
Oh, she's more like me.
Form we used to track it in the Excel spreadsheet and see if she can use it and offer to help her if she needs Excel help.
I've offered to help her, but I guess I was making the offer through email and she's apparently doesn't get to her email or something. So I'll offer over text.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I have a question on is on the Breeze app. I know that we had put, do we know, has it been rolled out to all the, everyone who's signed up and is given their information, or is that something that we're still working on?
That's something I need to complete. I've rolled it out. 27 people have the app on their phone right now, or access to it, either phone or via their computer.
It's a phone
But yeah,
version.
I definitely need to finish rolling that out. And that's not, I've got all that done. I just need to make it happen. And let's just say we'll get it done in the next week. I'll send out all those emails.
The reason I brought it up is because I've used it. I'm one of the people who have it right now, and I've used it. It's really helpful to connect to the members because all the information is there, and it's easy to just go in and you click on the phone number. You can either send a text or make a call that way. And I think that's information that'd be useful to the community to know that, oh, there's an easy place that they can go to just get the information and reach out to different members of the community on their own instead of just the CARES team having to be the one to do it all the time. But I didn't know if anyone had it or not yet. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Franklin. That was the whole point of one of the things Breeze could do was keep us connected. So I'll roll out all the invitations, get people signed up. The other thing we need to do is make sure the calendar on Breeze jives up with our service schedule, because you could, in that Breeze app, just pull up the calendar and say, oh, Sunday, tap on the service that's starting, and it would take you to the Zoom link. And then there's online giving on there. You can give money through Breeze. And then we can, I don't know, we get to a point we can talk about putting attendance on Breeze also as a place to record it.
Thank you for that. That's all I have. I just wanted to know those two things as far as the apps is concerned.
Oh. So the Breeze app, if you download it on your phone, it's the one that says Breeze CHMS.
Yeah, CHMS stands for Church Management Software.
Oh, I'm gonna download it.
It's very useful.
And you know what else? They even have an app to check in. A second one. If I guess that's if you want to say that you're here for the service, right?
You know, I always thought that was more for RE, but we could definitely use it for the service.
That's only people wanted to do that.
So on that, so I'm recording this, and I recorded the Common Ground service, and in the folder that it records to, it gives me a chat log in a text file. So anything that people put in the chat is archived and put into a document automatically. So we could even have at the very beginning, you know, or at some point in the service, have everyone check in. Everyone, you know, put your attendance in the rolls, put who you are and how many people are with you in the chat, and that's how we can archive it and then take that data and get it put into to Breeze.
That's great.
I will include that one now. Yeah, I'll loop that into the email I'm going to send out that has all the service design people on it anyhow, so they'd be the ones to implement that.
And I'll make one other comment. After that's done, Alec, I'll work with you to connect the Breeze calendar again with the Pathways calendar, which should connect with the calendar on the website.
Cool.
Just a quick thought, Alec,
Yes, Lilibet.
chatting. You might word it sort of like, let us know who you are, where you are, and who is with you.
Sounds good. I'll
Phrasing.
add that suggestion. Yeah, we'll put it on a slide and then have the worship leader mention it out loud. And then there's some people that won't be able to because they've phoned in, and so it's not a perfect system, but it's data that we can use.
That's all I have for my part.
All right, that takes us to Nancy.
Hey, well, I don't have numbers for for adult RE attendance because I've been sending Teresa notes, and apparently that's not the way to get hold of her. So I will try texting her and see if I can improve my communication with Teresa. I think she has been actually logging into every group to try to get attendance, as opposed to doing it the way I was doing it, which was to send notes out to everybody and get people just to let me know. So I think she's doing that. I just don't know where the data is going or what she's doing with it at this point. So
She hasn't been logging into mine because she's not in my group. So I've been sending her a spreadsheet via email, so that may not be getting to her.
I don't know. I will text her this week and see if I can get the communication working a little better. And I've also offered to help her if she's having any kind of spreadsheet difficulties, and I haven't heard back. So, but just as an observation, I think we're doing very well in terms of like Stephen's group. I know there is a regular on my path group that happens every week, and regular harried reasoners that happens twice a month. So I think we're doing pretty well with adult RE. Our children's RE has been not really happening. I know Tink tried to have a youth group last week, but I don't believe she had anybody show up. And Franklin, you were there with her, right?
Yes, the youth group we've had on most times it's usually one or two. I know a lot of them. I think they kind of burnt out on Zoom, so it's hard to keep them connected. I know Tink is sending out because she has the Soul Matters curriculum that she's going to use, so there will be a topic, and I think she's going to try to reach out to the parents to kind of see what is going to work best for the children, to see what will help them stay engaged and be able to connect each week when we have the meeting. I mean, we're still having the meeting, but it's maybe one. Sometimes if my daughters are with me, they'll join, but mostly it's Marissa's brother, Troy, that would be on there most of the time. He's usually on there for each of them. And then sometimes Tink's children would also join the meeting. But I think it's just, I think their youth is a little burnt out on being online. So I think that's part of it. It's just finding a way of getting them to engage with it.
I mean, and maybe we should be giving them a break till September. I don't know. Probably kids are getting tired of Zoom, but I mean, it's really the only way we have to continue youth group for the time being. But I guess the other, Tink has started, like Kimberly mentioned, she started on July 22nd, and I think it was kind of a rough time for her to start because she was in the middle of moving. She has moved to Grand Prairie, and she's staying in the house of a friend. So, but the move has happened, and she came to we had an RE council meeting this last week, and she came, and she seemed to be very excited about getting RE started. So I'm feeling very hopeful about her ideas and her enthusiasm.
She attended Spirit Play training Saturday. I saw a text from her that she really enjoyed it. And I forgot to mention in my report that you might want to pick up here. She does have a request for a laptop that if we could use grant monies towards it. And I asked Colin and Alec to see if we could find one on TechSoup for a very affordable price.
Well, we have a laptop. Pathways has a laptop. I have it at my house.
Well, we should give it to her then.
Okay.
Unless you're using it.
No, it was what I had before, and I gave it to Tim, and Tim revamped it because it needed to be shut down from the beginning. So it's got Pathways on it, and it's got the Google Drive. It doesn't have it doesn't have a lit keyboard. It doesn't have a touch tone screen, but it's an HP that's in great shape. And I just brought it home because nobody was using it.
It doesn't have a keyboard?
No, it doesn't have a touch tone. My current computer has a touch screen. This one doesn't. You have to do the old-fashioned way with the little pad, or you have to do a mouse.
Mouse, yeah.
Yeah.
So mine works.
But it's a 17-inch HP Envy, and it's in good shape.
How can she get her hands on it? Things used to be.
I'll contact her and tell her that we have a laptop for her.
Okay.
And then I'll work out a way to get it from you and get it to her.
Okay. We'll work it out.
Cool.
That way we don't have to spend any money, and somebody will get some use out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So anyway, she's working on curriculum. We made a decision also at the RE Council meeting to purchase a special curriculum for our youth. It's really aimed at junior high age or middle school, but I think we'll use it for whatever youth we have. And it's called Crossing Paths. And it's an extension of the old UU curriculum that was called Church Across the Street, which Lily Beth may remember, since Lily Beth's a long time UU. It's a curriculum that used to be based around visiting other churches. It's been updated. It'll coordinate with Soul Matters, and it's also being updated for COVID time. In other words, doing things remotely. So we did make a decision to purchase that to help with having a vital youth group. In terms of the other children, I think we're going to use whatever comes with Soul Matters. There's also a package called Soulful Home. That's for sending materials home, but that's a special purchase. And I don't think we need that. I think we can just use whatever. I mean, there are lots of materials that come with Soul Matters that we've already paid for. So I think that's what we're going to use. So we talked about, at our council meeting, we talked about budget, and we are, like I said, spending that money for an additional packet for our youth. And, but I think we'll have enough money for that coming out of the grant. Also, Sandy's spending $50 on some training for Soul Matters that she wants to do. So I think we'll have money for that. Other than that, at our meeting, we planned we talked about having the in-gathering meeting, which will be, we talked about doing the water communion. So I'm not sure how we'll do that, whether we'll have ask everyone to have their own water and use it in their own way to devote to our common good, or water our plant with it or something. And then also introduce the RE program, both all the adult things we have going that are already getting started, and then the youth program. So that'll be a time for us to formally introduce Tink to the congregation. I've asked her to speak, so she'll have some kind of, prepared talk about curriculum. And also we'll use that time to honor Marissa. Marissa was our RE person for 4 years, and I want to make sure that we formally acknowledge her and thank her and give her something. And so I'm hoping we can do all those things at the end gathering. Other than that, let's see, we talked about recruiting volunteers. We are moving into a model, I hope, that will involve more volunteers and less expecting our RE coordinator or RE professional to be the teacher. I think we really need to involve the congregation as teachers. This is an important part of the mission of being a church, is that we want to spread our ideas so that they're continued on into the next generation. It's not just about enjoying ourselves at church and finding our own personal fulfillment, as important as that may be, but to make sure it continues, the things that we value continue on into the world. So to that end, we really, I'm encouraging Tink to try to recruit not only parents, but many people from the congregation to be volunteers to teach, not just be assistants. So hopefully we'll have a training in the next 2 months and get that program started. So lots going on with RE. I'm also going to try to get I've asked Tink if she'll do a column for the newsletter at least once a month and have some kind of
That's a good idea.
touch to all the families at least once a week via a note, an email, something. So I think that's all I have regarding RE. Any questions?
That sounds great.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. Well, the only other item left was for Colin to speak on. So I guess we can make a motion for adjournment unless anyone has anything else to add at the end here.
No.
All right. I'll motion we adjourn the August 2020 Pathways Board meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Hi.
Say good afternoon. And Kimmel, I'm going to head up with that document here, so it'll take me 20 minutes or half an hour.
Okay.
Slow I get.
All right. See you then.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Lily Bet.
Thank you, Beth.
Yes.
Agenda together.
All right. Bye, guys.